Welcome to another episode of Coda Conversations. Today we have Doe from The Go. Hey, welcome to the show, man. Glad to
Man,
have you
salute,
on.
man. Thanks for having me, bro.
And to just get it started, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what you do?
Everything from music, fashion, and pretty much art. You know what I'm saying? Culture stuff, really. I've been in it for a long time, maybe 20 years now. Student of the game, came up under some great mentors and just been doing my thing for a minute.
Okay, I got you. I got you. So the company that you're currently plugged in with is Def Jam.
I'm plugged in with many companies. That's one of my accounts for sure. I've been rocking with Deb Jam maybe 10 years now, but I also do other accounts as well.
Oh, cool, man. Can you tell us how you got in the music industry and like what really inspired you to become involved in music?
Been heavily musically influenced forever since I was like 14. I started making beats and just got mentored by dudes that used to just really be in it heavy, and then they kind of took me up under their wing and showed me the ropes, and then I kind of spurred it off and started my own brands, and that's how I got pretty much affiliated in the industry with different executives and marketers, etc.
Okay, cool, man. So
That's awesome.
did you get started in the '90s or when did you start breaking in?
As far as professionally, maybe about 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like all the struggle and all the resilience, that stuff started like early 2000s. You know what I mean? Before I like really, jumping off the porch versus like really getting paid to do what you love. It's
Okay, so it took you a little while before the funds started coming
like
in
oh
and
02,
you were
oh
able to
correct.
do
So
this.
02, 03, up until maybe 2009, 2010 is when, it started really.
Okay, I got you. Hey, Brian, Marcus, did y'all have any questions?
Yeah, hey, Do, this is Marcus the Fingers. Pleasure to meet you. For those that watch this and who are watching this live, can you share what it is that you do, so that they can get a sort of a, idea of what you do and how you got into it a little bit?
I guess it's frozen up. Let's give him a second to come back.
Hey, Doe, can you hear us?
No, I think he just dropped off. He had to rejoin. But yeah, in the meanwhile, how are y'all doing today?
Pretty good, pretty casual day here.
Or how about you, Marcus?
Yeah, getting used to. We dropped our daughter off at college last week, so getting used to not having her in the house. We have our son here, and we got a dog, but it's a little quieter. So adjusting to life with a
Nice.
college student,
How old is your daughter?
17.
Okay, that's definitely an exciting age.
Yeah, yeah. So we were down in Atlanta last week, enjoying the vibes down there.
Did
Oh,
you do
nice.
any sing conferences while you were in town?
The last day on Saturday, I went to a networking event that was put on by a big songwriter, who's written with some big artists like Rihanna, Beyonce, Kelly Clarkson, and she started a company. Her name is Makiba. She started a company called the Young Dreamers Consultancy Agency, um, and they did their first in-person meetup. It just so happened to be while I was in town, so I pulled up, and it was great. She had a big producer there on a panel. His name is Black Elvis. She had another producer and vocal producer there named Troy Taylor, who was on the panel. So great vibes all around, and incredible event. And showing up, networking in person. I'm all about networking, virtually and in person. But when you get in person, there's nothing like it. Just making those connections.
Oh, awesome, man. Sounds like you keep yourself busy.
Yeah, definitely. And then just focusing on sync and trailers. Got a bunch of music to work on, so got to tap in over the next few days.
Oh, nice. Yeah, man. For me, just been a steady grind, working and doing this podcast thing.
Yep, yep.
And we have someone. Well, we had someone from Blizzard Entertainment, Gustavo, come on a couple of weeks ago. But we got an HR guy from Blizzard coming up. Like a week or two, Kevin.
Yeah, I think so.
So that'll be exciting. Some bigger guests.
Yeah,
Okay, there
yeah.
we go.
That might be a little better for us.
There we go.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. There you
much
go.
needed.
I brought it inside, man. So let's
Brought the vibes inside. I don't know if you caught my question, but I'll ask it again. For those who don't know, Doe from the Go, what you do, I know it says lifestyle rep, but if you could explain what it is that you do for the companies and brands that you work with on like a day-to-day basis or week to week.
basically just doing what I love, in the streets, in the clubs, breaking records, heavy relationship with a lot of DJ networks, and just really moving and shaking like a street executive, you know what I mean, versus being in the building all day. You know what I mean? It's much more fun when you can touch the people, you know what I'm saying, and you can make moves like that.
Absolutely.
Man, something I noticed about the music industry is it seems like a lot more in-person networking versus like online networking.
Yeah, well, it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. So it's not about just doing one thing a certain way, you know what I mean? Because you got that old school way of thinking, and then you got the new wave of how to do things, you know what I mean? Like, back when we was breaking records in the streets and doing a lot of street team stuff, you saw more posters and you saw more like presence in a sense. But now it's barely, it's shifting. Everything's digital now, and everything's like not really, the way it used to be. So like I said, it's constantly evolving. You know what I mean?
So you kind of went through that progression in real time. You seen it from when it went from the streets to more
Every
digital.
single era I was involved in, no matter what it took to break a record, I was right there front line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people get stuck in the old way of doing things. So how were you able to adapt to keep up with modern times?
Just being in tune with how to do things, and not staying, so dinosaurish. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Brian, Marcus, did y'all have any questions?
From the records that you helped to break, and from hearing your journey, it sounds like, which we don't hear of a lot these days, is what used to be back in the day. I don't know how old you. I'm about to be 40 next week, but back in the day, we used to have what's called street teams. It sounds like you're still keeping that same energy alive, marketing artists. What's been one of your like favorite either artists or songs that you helped to break through the
So
streets and through
many,
your yeah.
so many, but we have fun. If I had to pick certain ones, it'll be Jeezy Trapper Dot 3 album,
Mm.
Jeremiah's entire album. We went hard in the paint with Jeremiah's album, because we had to do a lot of different tactics to get him radio play. And this is what people don't understand about, once the label takes ads out, it's up to the reps' jobs to use their relationships with the program directors and the
Mhm.
DJs in the mix to be favored, to make these songs go gold and platinum. You know what I mean? It's a lot of tactics behind the scenes that people have no clue about. So when you see the plaques on our walls, you understand those type of situations happen that way. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, a lot of albums I've been involved in and singles that I've been involved in that I just remember like how hard we went when it came to pushing them. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna see. I don't know if my camera's working. I'm gonna come off camera so you're not by yourself. How long have you been sort of doing the lifestyle, the marketing, and the promotions?
it's not all I do, bro. That's what I was trying to tell you. I'm into fashion. I'm into art. I'm
Yeah.
into the music. I'm into the music. But with music, not so much more as I used to be, because once you succeed at something, you kind of start doing other things, kind of like what Kanye did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just to put that out there, I'm not just in the music business like I used to be. Like with music, I used to chase those thrills and those dreams. But once you get all that success, it's like, what else do you do? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I keep a foot in. I still keep a foot in the music, but that's definitely not all I do. You know what I mean? I'm a real hustler at heart, a real entrepreneur, multiple business owner. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to tell everybody, that to not just especially throw me in that bucket with just doing lifestyle stuff for labels and all that. That's just one check. You know what I mean? I need 40, 50 checks. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like, so make
Yeah.
sure your audience knows that. You know, I see I got the title like that. But my name, see, Doe from the Go built a lot for himself. You know what I mean? The Def Jam thing is just an entity and like one of the things that I've been involved in. But me, I've actually grinded to have a real name in this shit. You know what I'm saying? So my name associates with much more than just Def Jam.
Absolutely. Man, so yeah, you definitely sound like you got multiple streams of income. Like, when did you know it was time to branch off from just doing music?
You know, that's just early on. Even when I was young, I was, you know, into art and fashion and stuff like that. I guess those things just didn't come into fruition until I got myself in a position financially to start investing into myself. You know what I'm saying? So I've always wanted to be a fashion person or an art person, even before the music business. You know what I mean? I just took the music thing on first and went through the struggles of that, and then succeeded at that, and then started, you know, doing different things.
Right.
Absolutely. So you mastered one game and went on to the next one. Can you tell
Right.
us a little bit about your art and fashion? Like, when you say art, are you talking about like painting or?
Yeah. So with art, I do everything from broker art to create it in a curation way. Like, there's no rules to creating art. It's just, art is a vision that you have. However, you got to get that vision out. You know what I mean? So, not to take away from painters, etc. I'm not a painter. You know, with art, I'm more so a curator and a creator when it comes to art, and that's from every format, whether it be digital, whether it be print, canvas stuff, acrylic. I'm gonna launch a gallery soon called Woolrich, and it's gonna be an amazing gallery that showcases every type of piece, from people we've lost in the past, you know, music moguls, etc., and music icons. And then I'm gonna have a lot of stuff that's original, and it's gonna be a plethora of different things with this art gallery. As far as fashion, I have a line called Bag Language, which is a synonym for all hustlers, because, you know, when we talk, you know, it's bag language. It started out as an apparel brand, but now we've moved on into doing leather bags, etc. So I got some amazing things that I'm doing with that. Still, like, taking it up a notch. You know, I've done New York Fashion Week, I've done Magic in Las Vegas, and now I want to take it to Paris next. You know what I'm saying? So every
You're
time,
all over the map. You're all over the map.
every time I make a move with any of my brands or any of the companies or stuff I own, I just don't do stuff just to do it. Every time I do it, it's gonna make sense when I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
that's dope.
you go hard. You go hard on everything.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'm stalking your LinkedIn right now, and I know where the energy. One is the Chicago, so I know where the energy is coming from. But also, you went to Full Sail, and I'm an alum from Full Sail. I graduated a year after you. Can you share how maybe that helped to shape how you moved about in the industry?
Honestly, from a humble opinion, it wasn't worth the 60,000. Suge Knight actually put up 28,000 of that money. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that I went there, and then I went and got the other 32 grand. But it was a good experience when I went there. I wouldn't say only thing I learned was just to be patient, really, because I went in already knowing how to use all the control mix boards. When I was there, I just played dumb, you know what I mean? And I just watched, you know, the corporate way of engineering, sound engineering, and, you know, I really went for the certification, honestly, just to be certified. I never used a degree, because I you know, just to be sitting in a recording studio engineering my entire life, that's not what I had in mind for myself. I just went and got the certification just to be certified as a sound engineer.
Okay.
But even before then, I had taught myself, you know, how to use all the softwares. I had learned Cubase, Cakewalk, Cool Edit Pro.
Mhm.
You know, I taught myself Pro Tools even before I went to Full Sail. Like
Yeah.
again, I just went for the certification. You know what I'm saying? But it was a dope experience though. You know, was it worth $60,000? Nah. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
was for 1 year. You know what I mean? So it wasn't worth 60 grand for sure.
And it's not that price today. What I will say is, if you haven't tapped in, because it took me, I graduated 2010 from there, and it didn't help me at my job or anything, but it wasn't until the pandemic hit where they really started diving in with the alumni network in 2020 and doing these Zoom meetups and virtual meetups and stuff where you could really tap in. And I've gotten some
I see that.
opportunities just by joining these Zoom meetings. You get
Yeah.
opportunities because you never know who's in there, who's working in these different industries. They might need your fashion expertise on films they're working on. So if you can tap in with the alumni network now, they really stepped their game up since the pandemic started. I think that might be where you get the value from, is that network.
Word.
Yeah, these days. And we could talk offline about that. But
Yeah.
yeah. But Full Sail, shout out to Full Sail.
Yeah, shout out to Full Sail
yeah,
for sure. Like, I know people who did the online thing, got their free MacBook and all that shit. Like being in Winter Park and being next to Orlando and all of that was a cool experience. I remember we got to record Plies and we got to record Flow Rider, and it was certain people coming through there and stuff, but it was cool.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I don't want to get too much into the celebrity gossip, but growing up, we all seen Suge Knight. He has a certain reputation, but from what you're saying, when you talk to people that knew him, it seems like, it's a whole different picture. Like he just invested $28K in you.
Yeah. Like with Sugar Bear, it was, you just have to, when you have a personal relationship with someone, the difference between knowing somebody and then seeing what the media depicts is two different things. He loved the reputation of being gangster, you know what I mean? And he did gangster tactics and did things, but he did them in order to seal business dealings that were being wronged to clients of his, and that includes Mary J. She was getting effed out of her deals with management, Jodeci, people like that. And these people are on the East Coast, and he taking care of their business and doing strong arm and stuff to make sure they eat good. You know what I'm saying? These are things that people never talk about. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to like the other stuff that they always hear. You know what I'm saying? So, he definitely had two sides to him for sure. But the heart was bigger than the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. So with you being from Chicago, how did you get plugged into the West Coast?
With the whole Death Row thing, I sent in a demo. I was trying to rap, honestly. When I linked with them, I sent in a demo rapping, and they was just more impressed with how it was engineered. You know what I mean? So
that's funny.
They was like, fuck this nigga raps. Like they could come engineer with it. You know what I mean? So that's how I got out there. You know what I mean? And they put me up.
Right.
I think I was out there almost a year. And I got to meet Johnny J, and I met Left Eye, and it was a good experience. This is when they was transitioning to the Row. You know what I mean? When they was being called the Row Records. You know what I mean? So it was about to like rebrand the label, and they was about to start a whole new team and everything. You know what I'm saying?
So I know, like around that time period, Rap a Lot, they made inroads into Chicago, like Do or Die, I believe.
Yeah.
Did you ever do any work with them?
No, not around that time. Everything I've done with any of the legendary artists came way later, like when I established myself. You know what I mean? More so grown versus like real young. When I was real young, I was pretty much just tied to like, Suge, and then I went back to Chicago and got my own way up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Marcus or Brian, y'all have anything?
Yeah, I'll say you've been in the industry for a while, and you've seen like different things change. So what's been some of the most impactful changes you've seen? I know you've seen digital platforms, social media. We got this AI, whatever is going to be happening with AI. We see it happening now. We saw it happen with, images and text. So what do you have any sort of predictions for the future of not just music, but the other industries, the art, fashion that you're part of?
Yeah, no predictions. I just seen, time and time again. I mean, I'm an 80s baby. So growing up, I got to grow up as a kid in the 80s, then as a teenager in the 90s, and then as a 21-year-old in the 2000s. And then, once I got in my 30s, which was 2010s, by that time, stuff was like real internet infused. You know what I'm saying? So only thing I've seen really is just the CD go extinct and the budgets get way lower than what they used to. Like, they was giving plaques to the niggas sweeping at the studio. Now they don't even want to order a plaque for no one because they want to stay cheap. And you got to get it. You got to try to buy it yourself. And the game's changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's changed dramatically when it comes to like just the finances to actually create. It's like, and that comes part due to just budgets being misused, you know what I mean, or a lot of street shit getting involved, you know what I'm saying? So and so the higher ups was, they figured something out, like we're not gonna give them that much money as we used to. I mean, these videos it was music videos costing $1 million, $2 million just the music video. You know what I'm saying? So imagine what the recording budget was, or imagine what the budget was for travel, and those budgets. Buster and all of them used to be playing with some real budget money to create. You know what I'm saying? So it's all different now. You know what I mean? And even now, you can still make a video that look like $1 million, but you don't even have to spend $1 million. You know what I mean? Because you have technology and you have like a lot of robotic figures and all type of ways to edit in 4K, and it can still look like $1 million video without even spending $1 million. The thing about, if you look at those music videos, the difference now is they were just really on location, and you really got to see everything, right? And it was, if you notice, it used to be tons of people in the music video. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be like tons of people there in the video. Now it's like you don't even really need much to create a video. You know what I mean? So times change, and people change, and money is not what it used to be to use to create. So you just got to kind of figure out how to be creative without so much budgeting,
Right. Now, do you work with A&Rs at all?
I think the A&R is extinct because a lot of A&Rs, quote unquote, want to look like rappers and do rapper shit. So
interesting.
That's making it hard to decipher what is even an A&R. You know what I mean? It's like if you pay a real A&R to go be an A&R, then you're gonna get some incredible talent being developed. And as we see, a lot of talent is just being developed on its own, meaning people are just doing their own locally, and then they're coming up and they some artists are their own A&R. You know what I mean? Some artists know how they want to dress. They know what they want to rap about. They know what type of beats they want. And now it's like the A&R don't really exist no more, because if the A&R did, then we'll see a lot of more new artists being broke versus, a lot of these artists breaking themselves. You know what I'm saying? So the A&R word, when you use that word, you got to really use it carefully, because dudes is not A&Rs like they claim to be. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody gave me a budget and told me to go and find talent, I can do that. But again, there's not going to be a lot of chances like they're given in this day and age, unless you're doing it independently. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, now it's like, it's a real tricky thing to discuss.
Interesting.
So I know, like, these days, if you want to discover talent, you could just sit on YouTube, watch, different videos and see the latest hot artists. But back in the day, how did y'all really discover talent?
You got to be in the streets. You got to, that's pretty much what I did. Like, when I started the Stack and Starve Approved brand, that brand is a legendary brand I started in Chicago. We pretty much was responsible for creating the drill movement. So when you talk drill and you talk mixtapes, you have to insert me and my brand in that conversation, because we founded the first 5, 6, 7 drill artists we discovered, which were Chief Keef, Little Durk, Little Mouse, all of these artists, King Louie, all of these artists that you go back and really find the origins of drill music and who actually started it. You're gonna find my brand as being the pillar of distributing their first mixtapes, marketing their first mixtapes, and giving them platforms to be in the street to become hot. And that's real A&R, you know what I mean? Versus, and like I said, and this is how labels and stuff was reaching out to me once I started doing that. You know what I'm saying? Once I started finding these artists, and then those artists went on to become and get record deals and stuff on their own. You know what I'm saying? But it starts somewhere. It starts with other brands that break your music and DJs, etc. And that was us. And that's where the A&R conversation can come in. You know what I mean? Because these was artists that needed a platform to be heard. And we gave them that. You know what I mean? And this is all documented. You literally can go do your research and you're gonna see this logo. If you go look up the Stack of Starve logo, you'll see that logo on at least 4,000 mixtapes between 2010 and 2017. You know what I'm saying? Of all the drill artists that ever came out of Chicago, I controlled that entire market when it came to the drill music scene. And I'm talking about the first drill music scene, not like the second generation or third. I'm talking about the very first, which is the king of it all. We started all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, so I know drill is worldwide now. That's one of the biggest movements.
Yeah, that's why we don't even, when we hear about it, and we it starts somewhere, you know what I mean? But it starts with the creator. We created that. So it's like, it's that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to spread, and it's supposed to inspire, and it's supposed to like spill into different markets and etc. But you can't rewrite history. You know what I mean? You can't, when you go and look at the top 10 classic mixtapes of drill music, you will see my logo on each one of them. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. So what do you see as kind of like the next movement? We have drill. What's next?
I mean, that's up to the streets. That's up, everything starts with like the streets birth music. So, it's like with Oakland, how they had the hyphy movement. Oakland birthed that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're talking hyphy, they created that. That's something that they created. So really, whatever the streets say is next will be next, because the streets gonna always rule. The internet gonna do what it do, but the streets gonna always reign.
I gotcha. Marcus, Brian, y'all had any questions?
Yeah, like we can definitely keep going. I would ask, I know that you mentioned another side of Suge Knight, investing in your college career. Are there any sort of other mentors that sort of influence you on those different aspects in music? Are there mentors you look up to in fashion?
Yeah, all my black heroes are the obvious. Andre Harrell, Puff Daddy, of course. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about despite what's being put in light on him, what he's accomplished is very inspiring. You know what I mean? When it comes to music, consistency, and the pattern of, when Clive handed him a bag of money, he showed you what he can do with the bag of money. You know what I mean? He broke artists like Big, Total, Craig Mack. This is all consistently, but it took it takes money to do that. It takes money to invest into an artist, believe in an artist, shoot those type of videos, and then recoup and be able to make return on all of that. And they're not giving young black executives those type of chances anymore. If they was, we'd have more black executives out here. Dame Dash, of course, Jay-Z. A lot of these people, Irv Gotti, another guy who fought his way into believing what he believed in. You know what I'm saying? Like, Irv really wanted to sign DMX, and when they didn't believe in signing DMX, what did he do? Quit his job, and that they like, okay, well, he must really want to sign DMX. So they had to do what he wanted to do, but he had to fight for that, you know. And stories like that, you know what I'm saying? James Prince, his story is very inspiring, being, you know, someone who invested his own money. You know, he never really laid in bed with higher ups like that. I mean, he went and did business with certain people, but he never really got his funding from, you know, the top higher ups to do Rap a Lot. You know, Rap a Lot, their story is a little different. You know what I mean? Versus, you know, lying in bed with Time Warner or, you know, Universal. You know what I mean? It's a different story when you can, you know, go get money and do what you do. So yeah, you know, I'm inspired by all the Black heroes that ever made, you know, things happen in this business. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Absolutely. I think we're around the same age. I was born in '84, but you know, growing up, man, there was all kinds of traps for a young black man. You know, in our era, gang bang era, crack era came through. Like, how did you avoid all the traps out there and just be able to stay focused and not get deterred by any of the traps out there?
Just being raised, even when I was raised, I'm raised by a single mother who had a crack addiction up until I was 15, you know what I mean, and then turned her life around. But you know, even being raised by a mother who had her addictions, she still parent and still kept me out of shit. Now, mind you, I still grew up in the hood. I still was around gang bang. I gang banged till I was about 15, 16. But I had to do that to survive. You know, you still got to be affiliated. You know, coming up in Chicago, you still got to be affiliated. Now, I might not have been one of the gang bangers that put in work in the sense of violence. I might have did something else for the nation. I might have collected the money. I might have been just someone that the gang members trusted in a certain way and adapted and took under their arm because they saw my potential, you know, with whatever I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And they used to always tell me, like, if you stay out of prison and, you know, you achieve your dreams, you still a gangster. You know what I mean? You just not gangster. You know what I mean? So that kind of that stuck with me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, them telling me I'm a gangster, but I'm not gangster. You know what I mean? So achieving my goals and staying out of prison still meant I was a gangster. I just was a smart one. You see what I'm saying? So that was
using your head. Yeah, you're using your head.
Yeah, that was the difference. You know what I mean? With me, out of all of my all of my guys wanted me to be the one to, you know, just be successful and not make dumb mistakes that'll land me, you know, away from my freedom, etc. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounded like you had a good group of OGs and elders that kind of told you to stay away, whereas, you know, some people, their elders kind of encouraged them to get into trouble. So yeah, I'm glad that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. So also growing up, you know, my dad told me, you know, being like as a black man, you have to work twice as hard to get the same results. Did you find that as a valid statement?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you know, in the era that we grew up in, you know, things always change economically. You know what I mean? So, you know, making 50,000 in '85, you know, is kind of like 200,000 now. You know what I mean? Versus, you know what I'm saying? Like it all changes how you do your monies. If you're taking care of your family or if you're just trying to survive, sometimes you got to do a lot to just stay above water. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
you know, when you learn finances and you learn how to balance, that's the thing. You just got to be good with how you move and shake, and then you got to be good with finances. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So what are some of the financial lessons you can give, say, like a young black boy, like, you know, he gets his first job? What should he be doing with his money?
On the $3 rule. The $3 rule is basically, you know, a lot of times when people get paid, you know, they might get a check for $800. They think they have $800. You do not have $800. You know what I'm saying? What you have is you have $800 in front of you, but in order to build wealth or have savings or emergency funding, you have to know how to divide your funds. I mean, and that's the purpose for different accounts. That's why accounts are labeled accounts. You know, you have your savings account, you have your checkings, your spending, Then you have an emergency funding type of account, and then you have responsibilities, whether that be your dental, health, life. You got insurances to pay, and then you might have 100 left in your pocket. You know what I mean? And then if you can diversify your funds like that, and then you get another 800. Imagine if you keep doing that 10 times. Now you'll feel good because you got money in all these different places, and the bills are paid properly. And it's okay to have a few hundred in your pocket, but check out the wealth you're building for yourself as you're stacking up that bread in different areas. A lot of people,
Right.
a lot of people just take the money and just mess it all up, and then there's no money in other areas. You know what I mean? So just doing that $3 rule, dividing and knowing where to send your money every time you get it, you'll be all right. But if you don't follow those rules as far as saving your money, then you're gonna always be in a situation where you gotta borrow, or you gotta, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people struggle with
Right.
a lot of people struggle with how to do their funding. A lot of people just get the money, mess it up, and then they just waiting for another 800. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, diversifying the funds.
That's a great answer. Marcus, did you have any questions, or Brian?
I would ask, like, how, if you talk about a little bit your team, or if you are like a one man show, but do you have either employees, or even if they're interns or assistants,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lawyers,
Wouldn't,
accountants?
yeah, I wouldn't be able to succeed in any of the things that I have going on without
Hmm.
the people involved in my elevation. You know what I mean? So shout out to my business partner, Missy B. She definitely plays a role, an intricate role in my career. She helped me with the Stack of Star of approved brand as far as building that brand into what it became. She helped me with the Bag Language clothing brand, even my Mineral Water album series, which we'll get into. And then she's the one that was the pillar to the Def Jam situation. You know, she introduced me to my big homie Shampoo from YMVS. He's a New Yorker. He represents Def Jam as an ambassador over the entire New York market. And that's the guy that brought me in and introduced me to Eric Parler, which is the vice president of lifestyle promotions and radio. You know what I mean? So she was responsible for that. And like I say, it's all about relationships. You got to know somebody to get somewhere, but you also still got to qualify too. You know what I mean? Like, so when you meet people, it's like, okay, I met you. Now show me what you can do. Show
You
me
gotta have the skills. Yeah, at the end of the day, you need the skills.
show me what you're doing. Show me your value. I still had to work for mine. I still had to prove myself. Even though I had the credentials in the street, I still had to hold that down and maintain to prove myself with that. You know what I mean? And when it's time to show up and show out, you got to show up and show out. But again, I'm shouting out people like herself, and then I have other team members as well. You know what I mean? Noel, Peaches, Dav, Law Richardson, a lot of people that made sure they were around to play their role the way they needed to play their role in any of my brands or any other things that I had going on. I made sure I always involved my people, gave them opportunities to eat, and also showing them things. Sometimes you gotta lead by example. There's plenty of times years ago when we did the street team thing, I'm out there holding up signs too. You know what I mean? It wasn't just me on the sideline, like, yeah, y'all go hold the sign, whatever. I'm out there right with them.
Yes. Right.
That's pretty interesting that you got that attitude, because I know in the music industry sometimes you got somebody that's on, but he doesn't want to put his friends on because he doesn't want them outshining him.
Fact.
So where did that attitude come from? Like, why do you feel like?
Watching guys like Shampoo, you know what I mean? He's another one of my inspirations. Even with the whole street team thing, I used to watch him, how he used to have his guys in New York, and they used to hold it down, like the way they used to tag the poles and everything. And I used to watch him. He's still out there, even though he got workers, he's still out there with them. And that showed me right there, you got to lead by example. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, this is kind of a somewhat related question, but going back to just being black, I know, like, have you ever felt like you get highlighted more when you're doing wrong versus when you're doing good? And How do you manage to, just stay away from trouble when it seems like you're almost encouraged, like they'll put a camera on you quicker if you're doing wrong?
Well, it's all about what you take on in life. If you want to be in the light, you want to be. There's levels to stardom, and there's levels to like just you can be successful and no one even know who you are. Successful meaning you got millions and you taking care of your family, but nobody ever heard of your name. And that's probably what that person wants to choose for themselves. They can still go to the mall by themselves, whatever. Or you can be the guy that's like a Jay-Z or a Fabulous or something. But the moment you get into a domestic dispute, TMZ picked it up, and that's what comes with that level of stardom or that level of being in the light. You know what I mean? So you get what you choose. You just have to know when you choose it, what comes with it. You get what I'm saying? A lot of guys wanted to purposely stay behind the scenes just so they can stay private and just so they can still be able to be, just regular and just human. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, the level of stardom certain people wanted to reach for themselves and what came with it. You know what I'm saying?
And it kind of reminds me of like screenwriters. A lot of movies will be like super famous, but you have no idea who wrote it. Like you said, you could be out at the mall, no one's gonna know you, but you got millions of dollars in the bank.
Yeah, some people are okay with that, and then some people really want it to be in the spotlight, and unfortunately they'll get what spotlight gives them.
I know you being did you have something, Marcus?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You being a prominent figure, I know, like you often get people hitting you up for stuff. Like, how do you determine whether someone is a genuine good person or someone is just trying to use you for something?
I've just learned to develop I call it the spirit radar. You know what I mean? You just monitor a person's spirit. I've mastered, like, I can tell who's bullshitting off top. I can tell who's genuine. I can tell who's extremely serious and has a vision for themselves and wants to work. I've just mastered, and it comes in time because you got to go through a lot of phases to where, people come through with broken promises and hopeful wishes. And some people, they say they want to do business with you and then they flake. All of that stuff shapes and molds you into the people to avoid or the people to just weed out immediately. You know what I'm saying? So I call it the spirit radar. I just kind of check the temperature of a person's aura, and then I'll make them decisions off top of if I even want to deal or not, or if I want to pass.
That's interesting.
Absolutely. Marcus, did you have anything?
Yeah, and I know we're getting close to the end of the hour, but for you, you were very clear with your position. You're saying I'm not just music, I also do other assets. I'm an entrepreneur. I do art, I do fashion. So how crucial is it when you're working with these, whether they're artists or in these other realms, for them to know what their brand is? Like, there's some people that might not know what their brand is yet. So how do they get to that level where you're so confident you know what your brand is, if they don't exactly know what their brand could be for artist success? So what are some of those strategies that helped you to define, like, clearly the lane for your creativity?
Well, it takes sometimes it might take up to 10, 15, 20 years to really build your brands. And it takes a lot of patience. It's like people see these gorgeous homes or these gorgeous establishments being built, and they wonder, like, how did the architectural structures become the way they did? It came from patience and like building it. You got to build it brick by brick, layer by layer. So the ones who succeed the most understand the time and effort put in, and the ones who are in a rush never succeed because there's no patience, and there's always a mentality that doesn't work in alignment with what they want for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, every
You
success.
gotta be consistent at the end of the day. You gotta keep up that consistency, right?
Facts. Every successful brand we've seen, it took a team, and it took patience, and it took a lot of building. Not just finances. Finances always are going to help because you need finances, but it took a lot of those different things to create a recipe for success. So you got to have patience, and you got to have vision, and that's the recipe right there.
Yeah.
Now, what would you recommend for someone who's like a junior, someone's entry level? They want to break into music, maybe they want to do AR kind of stuff, or like street team, or even producing records. How would you recommend that entry level person kind of break into the industry?
Study the game. Get your study on first. Really do top to bottom research on the origins of the music game. What prominent figures played a major role in this business, and then you start to develop your own skills to decide how you can insert yourself in. Because I know a lot of executives who used to be rappers or producers or even managers who used to rap and stuff like that. So you really got to find your niche as far as what is it that you're exactly going to be. A lot of people gave up. A lot of those managers who used to be rappers, they probably just gave up, and then they ended up getting an artist, and then that artist blew up, but they still made sure that they got out of this game what they came for. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, man, you being an entrepreneur, can you tell us a little bit about the realities? Because I know a lot of people think that you're just gonna do whatever you want and it's gonna be a success immediately. But even I'm finding it takes like years to even really quote unquote turn a profit.
Oh yeah, it definitely takes years to turn a profit. I tell people all the time that if you start a business, don't expect to get paid maybe for the first 3 to 5 years. I know that sounds crazy to hit at, but you got to really pour everything in, because even when you make money, you got to put it right back in, because you got to think about costs. And this is where your business plan comes in. Even in your business plan, it has to state how you plan to blow your brand up. And that's a lot of it's gonna detail what you turning profits and putting it right back in. You know what I mean? Because in order for a brand to succeed, really there's gonna be cost in supplies, and then there's gonna be cost in advertising. So those two alone are gonna be where the budgets are deeply inserted. You know what I mean? Because your brand has to be visible. So that means whether it's pop-up shops or whatever, even getting supplies, whether you got clothing brand, you need quality stuff. Then you got to advertise it. So you're going to need a lot of great content, a lot of good things. Then you're going to have to have the branding. It's going to be a lot of things you have to really put into it before you turn a real profit. And even when you turn a real profit, you're not really going to be in a position to eat until everybody around you can, and the company can have legs to stand on financially. And that's where the recipe for a successful brand lies. So
it's complex.
It's all in the patience and all in
complex
the process. Yeah.
Did y'all have any questions, Marcus or Brian?
No, I'm good. Oh well, I don't know. But if there are viewers who are watching now or even later, and they wanted to work with you, is there a path where they could connect with you?
Yeah, I'm a Dope from the Go on every platform. So that's DOUGH from DAGO all together. Dope from the Go on every platform, whether that's LinkedIn, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Or Dope from the Go at Gmail. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Definitely down to represent new clients, whether that be a one-off basis or a contract basis. And I represent every type of client, even athletes I'm starting to represent now, because even athletes need help when it comes to contract negotiation, how they plan to brand themselves, even just from day-to-day management. You know what I mean? Athletes need things too. So I represent brands, athletes, musicians, comedians, whatever you into. You know what I mean? Like
wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So, okay, in the music industry, we've heard about some of the bad contracts, say, for example, TLC. What are some of the things that somebody looking to get into the industry, what should they be doing to protect themselves?
Honestly, I really suggest independence for everyone. I feel like being independent is where you will have the most leverage. For instance, 21 Savage, I like using him for an example. Before he signed with Epic, he was independent, but he got himself to a position by getting his own buzz up and being able to walk in the Epic building with his A&R, which was Chubby Baby at the time. I think Chubby got him signed to LaFace's when not LaFace, but to LA Reid's. When LA Reid was at Epic, Chubby probably was able to go in there and say, look, this dude got his own numbers up, independent, and they had the leverage to negotiate their type of deal, which if I had to guess is a 50-50 partnership where, they split the profit. They probably pay for everything too moving forth as far as like branding, videos, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of that deal, whenever that Epic deal is over, 21 can walk away with all his masters. You know what I mean? And a lot of artists can't come into their deal negotiating because a lot of them haven't put in the work independently first. So that's why I say go independent first. Like Dolph. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. Like when you do so much for your own self and you get all the leverage up, you get what you negotiate. So if you haven't done shit, you can't negotiate shit because you haven't done shit. So you have to get your
Right.
you have to be independent first in order
Right.
to. And a lot of people are lazy. They don't want to be independent. They don't want to.
Oh
dump,
yeah.
they don't want to dump
Absolutely.
all the
Absolutely.
there. So but I suggest independence because with independence you can have leverage after you've done so much for yourself. You can literally go in any building and negotiate the type of agreement that fits suit to what you've already accomplished for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, like you're setting it down. Like, okay, I've already done X, Y, and Z.
otherwise,
so like, show me. It's like show me what you got. Show me what you got.
Yeah, otherwise you'll be a slave. They'll tell you when to take all your music down. You can't have none of your music up. It's gonna be red tape. They're gonna tell you, okay, well, you gotta wait. See, a lot of labels assign you just to have you on the roster and watch what you got going on. Or sometimes they assign you just to take your style from you. It's weird. It's a weird game. That's why I say independence is weird.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that because once these companies, corporations, they own your products, then they shape your image. Like you no longer have that independence.
This is why I say, with music artists, there's only going to be a set 20 artists that are considered top tier A-listers. Reason being is because those top 20 I'm speaking on, they all have their own identity, and then everybody else either looks like them or kind of sound like them, and then they become CD artists. Like so, if you got Chief Keef, and he's got dreads and whatever, and then you got Little Pump, and then all these other people, they gonna kind of resemble them, but there's already one Chief Keef. So why do we need a two or a second or a third Chief Keef? And that's why a lot of these artists fall in the bottom categories because they're coming out trying to be or sound just like the guy that even created the first image.
It's too similar.
Same thing with Lil Wayne. There's a lot of Lil Waynes out there. There's only one real Lil Wayne.
Right.
And there can't be another Rick Ross because there can't be another dude with a bald head, beard, and glasses. Because the minute that he comes out, we're gonna compare him immediately to Ross. You see what I'm saying? So people have to find their own identity, and then that's when you're innovative in this game. And that's why it's hard to break a lot of artists because it was too many copycats. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Brian and Marcus, did y'all have any closing questions?
Yeah, just for I was gonna say for the audience, Doe, can you break down what a lifestyle rep is that you do for Def Jam?
Yeah, it's basically everything from radio business, meaning breaking records or getting records serviced, to DJs, etc., and then following up on those records. Sometimes you gotta make sure records have legs. Sometimes they might not perform well in the BDS system. Sometimes you might have to go to the club and record videos being broken. A lot of times when we was breaking records, we would send labels in massive amounts of videos to prove we're breaking the record. and then they got to go and take meetings with the higher ups to show them that the records are being broken. You get what I'm
wow.
saying? So, like,
Interesting.
Big Sean, I Don't Fuck With You. We broke that record in the club. I mean, and we had to. I remember we had to send in 10 videos every Monday for like 6 weeks straight from different clubs showing that we're breaking the record. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, lifestyle stuff is all about the lifestyle. Sometimes we'll do events where we partner up with like Puma or Red Bull or something, throw concerts and have the artist headline, and we'll get all the people there. Or sometimes we've done parties in Chicago where we gave out drinks for free all night, and then we just packed the whole club, and we're just branding the Def Jam brand.
Nice, nice.
Lifestyle is more so the lifestyle portion of the label, but it starts with like radio stuff, street team stuff, and club and mix show, and you know, all of those good things. So
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I got one final question. So for the short term, what are your like immediate goals? Short term being in 5 years, and then when it's said and done, say like at the end of your life, what do you hope to have accomplished?
well, where the 5-term goals, I've been accomplished all of those things. I'm now for me, it's more so legacy. You know what I mean? I'm about to be a father of twins. You know, now I'm just thinking about legacy stuff now. It's not about 5-year goals, because all of those 5-year goals I've already accomplished on my come up. Now I'm just thinking about like what to pass down to my kids and how to keep them going and flowing, and how I want to make them into moguls and millionaires, etc. You know what I'm saying? So that would probably be the biggest purpose moving forth. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Did you have any closing thoughts that you wanted to leave with the audience?
Man, just stay focused, and you know, it's a crazy world right now, but you know, if whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. Like you just have to have a lot of isolation, and you know, a lot of times people get in your way, but you got to learn how to block them out. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's negative energy. Only
Focus. Yeah, talk about focus.
only keep the best energy around you, and you'll be all right.
Absolutely, man. We definitely appreciate you for coming in, man. Anytime you want to stop by again, please do. Yeah, thanks for coming in as well, Marcus.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Marcus, did you want to leave any thoughts with the audience?
No, man, just enjoying connecting with people like Doe from the Go, and learning from their journey, because it helps to inform what we're doing on our journey. Like, you can use some of his insights and lessons that he's learned, and it doesn't matter what age you are. You can learn from. I can learn from my kids. You know, they're showing me stuff on my iPhone and iPad and stuff. I'm just like, what? How did you do that?
How do you do that?
Yeah. Age doesn't matter. You know, you can learn from everyone. So try to find those nuggets that you can apply to whatever it is that you're doing. So I definitely appreciate you, Doe, for sharing your journey in those lessons.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch